with the new Monster Hunter World beta out, I decided to actually record a little bit of me playing and give you guys a quick review over what I think the game will be when it's fully released. Ultimately, in the end, it is my opinion, so take it with a grain of salt. The first thing you want to know is that there is an in-depth character creation. For the beta, you will only have the presets for both you and your cat. After that, they give you their weapons of choice to start off the quest with, and a few pieces of armor. Now, the good thing is that with the armor, you can actually, right off the bat, make a mix set. So right at the beginning of the game, you can actually make a set with high attack, high defense, however you feel like playing. And their weapons are pretty much set up, to be all-encompassing, so you get to try a little bit of everything. The game itself actually has you do a few new different things compared to the old Monster Hunter, which some people may or may not like. One of the things that's actually really good are the scout flies that help you track down monsters and other items that are on the map that you may not see. Whereas the old games had limited detailed backgrounds where you could see other items clearly. Being on the PS4 now, the game's more detailed, the environment's a lot more expansive, and you may not be able to catch everything just with your eyes alone. Hence, the scout flies. They will point you in the direction of items nearby, mushrooms, flowers, etc. that you may not catch, and they might help you track a monster in an area that is heavily, populated with bushes and marshlands and such like that where you couldn't see normally. So it does help. A lot of people who played the older games feel like it's too easy. But personally speaking, I've played a lot of the old Monster Hunter games, and the one thing I enjoy the most about the Scout Flies is that it does help you track. You have to keep in mind, in the game, in the world itself, you are a hunter, so you use whatever you can to track the monster. Makes sense that you're tracking footprints and scratches and such like that, and they understand you won't be able to catch everything. Here, use these bugs. On top of that, now we have a map with no load screens, whereas you could actually have a map and zone out to try to avoid a monster's attack and zone back in, which isn't really realistic for the game itself. Now, you go from zone 1 to 2, and the monster can still follow you without any issues. So, while we don't have the comfort zone now of the transition between zones, we do have a much better flowing game than the previous Monster Hunters. Going past that, you also have meals in the game where you can actually get different buffs just like any other hunt, but this time it's actually inside the hub. The game itself, but the effects are temporary. So say you get attack up large. It may last only 15-20 minutes. If the hunt goes past that, you might actually have to stop back at camp and get another meal and continue so forth. Which makes sense. You figure, I'm hunting, so eventually I'll eat up through all the food I ate already, I'll get hungry again. I give them that. It's annoying because now you can't just rely on one food buff for the entire fight, but I gave them credit where credit's due. It does make a lot more sense. Another really important thing with Monster Hunter is that whetstones from the previous games were a consumable item. So you'd have to come in with whetstones. If you were rocking a weapon, say like the gun lance or shield and sword, where blocking eats up part of your weapon's sharpness, you'd go through whetstones really quickly. Now whetstones are a lot better because they are an infinite use items. The issue on the other side, though, is while your whetstone is now infinitely used, the sharpening animation is much, much longer compared to the other ones. While the other one would say maybe 1 to 2 seconds, this one, it feels closer to maybe 4 or 5. I haven't timed it, but it is longer. Now, on top of that, the monsters they debuted in the beta. We had the Jagras, and we had the Anjanath, the two new monsters that we see in the game. As per every other Monster Hunter game, the Great Jagras, stupidly easy to get, and it's what you see me attempting to hunt here. I'm just faffing about and traveling the land just to show you how the game is before actually catching up to the monster and killing it. Just like with any other games, the Great Jaggy, the Iodromes, all those entry-level monsters, they're just for you to get your bearings straight. You don't take them seriously. Go in, hit them hard, quest is over. You'll see me later on in this quest. The moment I actually find the Jagras and start attacking to the point it dies, takes maybe less than 2 minutes out of this entire video. Going through that, other few things that Monster Hunter is going to be doing in this game, where previously your online hub was set up only for 4 people, the hub now is going to be set up for, I believe it was 16, they said, that could be in the hub at any time, which means even if one of your party members can't make it, you have other people to fall back on to just hop into the fight with you. So there's no waiting for another member, room's full, people are hunting left and right, and they'll join people when they see fit. Another thing that I do enjoy about the game is the turf wars. Whereas now it makes sense, you know, you're hunting a monster in an area, makes sense that another monster might be nearby, they don't like each other, and they attack each other. In one of the runs I was doing, you see the Diablos and the Baroth come into contact with each other. Diablos runs the Baroth right over and does over 1200 damage. Good chunk of damage done. So you have to keep these things in mind when hunting. Do you want to provoke another monster but get your target weaker, such like that? So they're adding a few new elements to the game. When you think about it overall, the game is actually really solid just from the beta. There is no issue with server lag right now, considering that a lot of people are on the beta, they're trying. There's stress testing, so Monster Hunter, with only a month away from launch, has done a good job with this game. Now, what I wish they did is that they added one more difficulty to the beta, because we have the easy mode fight, which is the Great Jagras, the intermediate mode, which is the Baroth, and the expert hunt, which is the Anjanath. I really wish they had one more, which they had you fight the face monster, just so you get a feel for what should hopefully be one of the more difficult fights, and see how you play with that. I will say a lot of people are griping about the game being on PS4, saying it's not a real Monster Hunter game, it should be on DS, but a lot of people fail to realize that Monster Hunter started on the PS2 with the first Monster Hunter game. So it has originally been a Sony title. For me, button commands between this game and the DS are a little bit different. But within the first 20 seconds of picking up a weapon, it just came naturally. It's like, this is the game, this is how it plays, and it works just like any other Monster Hunter game past that. Now, what I'm going to give you guys here is my recommendation whether or not you should play the game or not, considering that there's only 1 day left in the beta. I'm going to score everything out of 5. So graphic-wise, right now with the beta, I'd give the game a 4 out of 5. Could look a little better, and there's still a lot of clipping with the game, so everything doesn't flow as naturally as it should for the game. Hunts, based off the beta, I will give it a 3 out of 5. All the monsters that you are supposed to hunt are way too easy, beta or not. A lot of people who are picking up this game are mostly pro hunters, people who've played the other games before. Okay, so they definitely needed better hunts to really test out the game. Expectations for the game, I'm hoping a lot more. Hopefully their monster catalog will be a lot larger. Armor. I'm going to give the new armor system a 4 out of 5. The reason being is that with the mix sets that you can do now, instead of having to get 3 points into a single part of the skill that you want, you just build off of a single skill. So if you have something with attack on it, it gives you the attack boost. You just build off of it. So it makes mix sets a bit more fun, and you can really customize your hunter the way you want to hunt. Overall, I'm going to give the game, based off the beta alone, a 4 out of 5. It is definitely a game worth picking up, worth looking into, and just play it, have some fun. It is a game that you want to have friends with to play, 1 or 2, just so you're not alone on it. Now with that, enjoy the rest of the hunt, and I will see you guys next time.
The monster is on the move. Use the scout flies as a guide as you go after it. While using the ghillie mantle, you'll be hidden from a monster's sight. You can use jump attacks to mount monsters. Dodge their attacks. You don't want to take hits like that head on. Hey, these shrubs look like the perfect place to hide.